Culture and Nutrition with Adam Bigelow of the Cullowhee Community Garden. Take one.
Okay, so question number one. Why do you think people should eat local?
I think that eating local has a lot of advantages and benefits. One is a reduction in what's called the food miles, and that's the amount of distance food travels. I think that when food travels a long time, it uses a lot of natural resources that adds to the destruction of the environment. Food has to be picked early and artificially ripened if it's vegetables, and so there's going to be less nutrition. And I think eating local connects people with their local environment, their local farmers, and seasonality of food.
Okay. Question number two. Benefits. Healthier economy-wise?
Sure. So there are health benefits for eating local. One is you're going to have higher nutrient density in the food because it is usually fresher, and over time the nutrient availability of produce goes down. And then economic benefits of eating local is that when you spend $1, your dollar spent in a local economy actually stays in that economy for a lot longer, and 70 cents of every dollar spent in a local economy stays in that place. So if you spend $1 with a farmer in Jackson County, they're going to spend that money on other things in Jackson County, and it's going to have a local benefit and give us some tax monies and all of that. But when you buy from a big industrial food producing company from somewhere else, that money goes away.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you think would be the negatives, or do you think it would last as long, the negatives from eating local, if there are any?
Are there negatives to eating local? Yeah, sure. There's negatives to everything, but they're very small. I guess the only negative thing that most people would consider would be a negative is not having as much availability of food and different kinds of produce. And so if you really like eating oranges and then you decide to eat local, you're not going to get to eat oranges anymore because oranges don't grow in southern Appalachia.
Right.
And there, I guess, could be some other negative things too, but they're not money.
Okay.
Why do you think that people choose not to eat local?
I think people choose to not eat locally for a couple of reasons. One, we live in this culture of convenience where people want the easiest and most convenient thing, and that's often not seeking out local food. And then availability and ease. There's very few local produce and food being sold at, say, Cookout.
Can you pose a possible solution to encourage people to eat local?
Yes. There's an impending environmental crisis called climate change and global warming that's going to bring down the destruction of everything we know, and we have 12 years to solve it. If we don't do something about it, we're all going to die. And when climate change impacts really come and hit us, and our economic and ecological systems all start collapsing around us, and people are dying by the tens of millions, we will be forced to go back to old local foodways that include only being able to eat what you can produce or your neighbors can produce, and having to work in a collective shared economy that's built around survival of the freaking fittest. We're all gonna die.
Okay. How accessible is local food? Is it available all year long?
Yes and no. There are some local products that you can find that are storable and put up. So that's from sweet potatoes and things grown and things that you can grow yourself to packaged and processed foods that store for a while. Like, you know, you can get some trout dip from Sunburst Trout Farms over in Waynesville, and you can get that all the time. William Shelton of Shelton Farms does hydroponic lettuce that you can buy at the Ingalls at all times of the year, and that's pretty good stuff, and it's local. But there's definitely less availability of locally produced food in the wintertime than in the other times of year, because there's less stuff being made in the wintertime because all the plants go away and everything's sad. But then springtime comes and we grow food again.
And the last question I have for you is, how can eating local impact our future?
So eating local puts you into a relationship with your local environment, with your farmers and gardeners and food producers in the area, and what that can do for, you said, to help the future, is that when global warming, climate change, environmental destruction impacts us, but if we all have a community around us already that is for the mutual benefit and aid of everybody, then we'll be able to better survive some of the coming impacts of climate change. I'm serious. Shit's about to get ugly.
Okay, I think that's all we have. Thank you.